going on, YouTube viewers? I'm here with Victor Castillo. Artist. It's my man. There's some of his work in the back. How long you been drawing?
Well, that's funny. My whole family, we're all
Artists? Right.
My grandmother had 16 kids. Wow. They didn't have TV.
Maybe I should have talked to you before this interview. Whoa.
My grandmother had 16 kids, and her sister had 23. So, and they're all artists, born artists, all of them, every single one of them. My grandfather, his name was Ambrosio Tavera, and he was a phenomenal surrealist, just like me. He just never took a class, never learned any formal training, but he knew everything about proportions. He knew everything about everything, shading, everything, perspective. He did it precise, and he never took a course.
So this is in your blood.
Yeah.
This is in your blood now.
All my cousins.
I'm amazed.
All my cousins are artists. They're all like famous artists in Dominican Republic. Two or three of them. Yeah, 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. Because I have a lot of cousins. Remember, they're 16. Brothers and sisters, so they all had like 3 kids.
Now, the first time I saw your work was on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, dude? And when do these images come? You want to talk? Because you said you wanted to talk about that.
Well,
do you have a name for this piece?
The Truth. That's the name of the.
Don't ask me.
The name of the piece is The Truth. You want me to give it a quick synopsis?
Yes, please.
Oh,
because sure. I'm confused, so I know you're confused.
I teach. I'm a spiritual teacher as well. And he was my yoga student at the YMCA. And I got into so many deep things in that class.
That's why y'all don't understand me now.
It was very interesting. It was 3 of you that stayed. Always 3. Always 3.
That made
the cut. You remember that? I would give a lecture and people would just get up
falling out like flies.
Yeah.
It's too hot in the kitchen.
Yeah. So as a spiritual teacher, I've worked with many different masters and many different things on what spirituality is, and what it really boils down to is really getting down to the traumatic experiences that we all have, from adolescency down to past lives and so on and so forth, and different dimensions. And we all carry all this trauma inside of us. And all spirituality really is to really relive that trauma in order to extinguish it in our bodies, in our subconscious.
Almost like a healthy release.
Correct. You have the incorrect release, which just perpetuates it and keeps it in a cycle. And that's like, drinking your stuff, crying, and then doing it again, and
becoming a hoe.
Sex. becoming a sexual deviant. But all these things, the reason that people do those things are not wrong. We can't really say that point fingers, is that they just have trauma. And all that trauma has an origin, and most of the origin is to go to the in the present time, not even going into past lives, just going to present time has to do with our parents and their ignorance. And ignorance just means that they don't know. They're not dumb. Nobody's really dumb. You have unconscious people who may seem dumb, but they're just unaware, right? So you can't really point fingers or make judge. So most of my artwork is a rendition of the work. It's another way of me teaching the work. It's another me of pointing out specific aspects of the work, things that may seem a little unfathomable, or etc. And what I do is I render it in a surrealistic way. So my style that I feel I'm coming up with, or maybe it's out there, but I feel it's called esoteric surrealism, which is I take esoteric spiritual properties and concepts and things that is in doing the work, and I put them on paper. So, and the work is everybody's doing the work. You don't have to do anything specific. You're doing the work as you live. You know, you cry. The moment you cry, something's happening to your subconscious. The moment you go through a hardship or adversity, you're still changing somewhere. But the moment that you make an effort to take it to an aim, I don't want to say a goal, but just like an aim of a path, some sort of thing, then it becomes more intense, and then, you know, you become more aware and expanded.
Now, can you explain this in particular?
Yeah. So, and this guy right here, he's wearing a suit, and he represents the everyday blue collar, white collar worker, completely unconscious. I mean, he may have intellectual understanding, and he may be secure in his own way of being, and he may be precise and, you know, prestige, but he is not aware of himself. He has no awareness of higher awareness or anything outside of that block. So his whole life is all mental. But to him, he feels like he's figured out life. Now, the energy of the planet is feminine. And the feminine energy is a balance with the masculine, but it's all encompassed with feminine. And that has nothing to do with, like, you know, the feminist movement or anything like that. It's just different energy polarities, and the feminine just has to be the one that overruns everything.
Right.
So, she, who happens to be my ex-wife now, is representative of the feminine energy. And she's tangled up in that way because the feminine energy, even though it's simple, the deeper you go into spiritual work and into the energy, you know, you start to see that there's entanglements and loopholes, and it's never something that's linear. So that's her purpose. She represents all energy. He needed to get woken up, and this aspect of him comes out of his third eye, which is the point of consciousness, the pineal gland.
Right.
And she, representative in him, comes out of his third eye to shake him up and wake him up. He got fed up, and it just came out. So I accentuated how something like that might be so traumatic and crazy can happen. I mean, it's just happening in the middle of the street as he's going to work. So it flies out of his third eye in a liquid form and then animates and forms a physical human, and then it kind of shakes him up.
What's that in the human's hand?
And right here, it's a plaque that says the truth.
Ooh, okay.
Which is a representative of this cycle.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
This right here has another meaning, which has to do with secret societies, the Freemasons, pretty much. And that is a representative of the key holders that block this from happening.
And what is this in his hand?
This is just like a walking stick.
Okay. Which represents?
Nothing.
Okay.
It really, you know, a lot of the stuff, it was just really surrealistic. Like this right here becoming something just surreal.
I got you.
So that's what that means.
Pretty heavy. But I like the work. It's good work.
Yeah, and then I get into traumatic experiences from children. I have another piece about men's violence on women, and then it explains, you know, it shows the child and how they're psychically taking on the trauma of the parents.
And you are looking for curators to bring you in to the gallery.
Yes. So I am looking to expose this type of art because it's really not out there. It's not really being exposed as to what spiritual work is. I'm not trying to knock anybody else, but
no, it's not a knock. I mean, we're here like discussing, talking about the artists here in Newark. What do you bring to? What do you think art brings to the city of Newark? I know we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. Art is pretty much like a lot of people try to say that art is like subjective, and it can be because you can see art and beauty in everything, right? But as a skill set,
yes, excuse me.
As a skill set, rendering something like this, and let's say I would put this up on the wall, right, on the side of a building, you know, what will that do to somebody's subconscious? You know, like,
ooh, that's deep.
Like how is that going to affect somebody?
That's deep.
Because the personality, you know, the thing that tries to protect you, is going to react to this.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's the way all this stuff I don't draw from my mind, which may be obscure to some people, but in my travels spiritually, I channel everything from another side.
So that's interesting. So how would Mickey Mouse look on a billboard, and how does that affect people? The colors and the whole idea of a Mickey Mouse and the story, and then a work like this, and how does that affect the person? But you're saying not just on the surface. Oh, look at the cute Mickey and Pluto or whoever, but image like this that really speaks to the reality of the world versus the